Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Retail Traders Special presented by EXP-Invest. Thanks to ET Market Lives for giving us this platform where I can share the knowledge with you. I am Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP-Invest, and आज हम discuss कर रहे हैं technical indicators के बारे में. Now, if you're a full-time trader or if you're an aspiring part-time trader or a self-trader, technical indicators is something definitely that you've come across. Now, what makes technical indicators so appealing? With if once you have garnered the understanding of these technical indicators, it is possible to make trading decisions in a relatively less time. What do I mean by relatively? For instance, if you want to make your trading decisions based on fundamental analysis, it will require you hours and hours of research. But with technical analysis, the advantage is that this amount of time, the amount of time that you need to dedicate can be significantly reduced if sorry about that. Okay. The amount of time can be significantly reduced if you practice the art diligently. Now, technical indicators are being taught widely in different courses, different classes. You've probably read books about it, seen some videos. You've been, and you might definitely be knowing the theoretical part of it. But if you've noticed yourself not getting a lot of success in the application bit of it, might be because of the wrong mindset or the wrong approach that you might be giving to the indicators. So in this session, I am not going to discuss in on a very basic level what an indicator is, because for that today we now have ChatGPT, where you can simply enter the name of any indicator or the name of any category of indicator that you want to know about, and the ChatGPT will give you a lot of information about it, from formula to explanations and everything. So knowledge in today's time is becoming free. However, what I am going to share this session, which is going to make it very important for you, is what do you need to do to make the knowledge of this technical indicators more profitable for you. So without much delay, let's get started with the session. Just one more thing. The session will have two parts as always. The first part will be where I do the knowledge sharing, and the second part will be where I take up your stock queries. So if you have questions for me, please be sure that you put them in the comment. As soon as I am done with the session, I will turn to those questions. And of course, if you have questions about the session, then do put them down in the comments as well, and I'll be very happy to answer those questions first. Okay. All right, so let's begin. Now, application-based approach to technical indicators. One reminder that this entire retail traders session is actually comprised of more than 10 series. We've already covered topics like volume analysis, price pattern, support resistance levels, moving average, and technical indicators. Right? If you today we are covering technical indicators. Now, if in case you want to get more details, or if you want to see these sessions, just go into the archives and you'll be able to see all of these sessions. The support resistance and moving average was actually clubbed into one session because moving average plays a very big part in giving support resistance levels. So that is why I covered it in quite a lot of details in that session. Today also we will be talking about moving average and trend indicators. In the coming sessions, I will be telling you how to use the Fibonacci retracement properly, how to use candlestick patterns, trend lines, volatility measures, and time frames. One thing that I also want to emphasize is the reason why I'm covering all of these topics, and I'll be covering them again when they are done, because every time I'll cover them, I'll basically expand on the previous discussions. The reason why I'm covering all of these is that one thing that is very important for you to understand as a viewer is all of these analysis, they are not substitutes. They are components of one wholesome analysis. So whenever you're seeing an index or a chart or a currency or commodity, anything, you have to look at all of these things. So it is not one strategy, one indicator, or one oversold, overbought zone which should encourage you to put your capital to the market. Instead, it should be a cluster of evidences giving weight to the trade setup, making it worthy of your capital. Okay. So for me personally, I look for minimum 3 evidences. And these are the 10 investigations you can say that I do on the charts, and I do it across different time frames. So 3 to 5 is actually the minimum number of evidences that I need to give a trade setup attention, capital, and then monitoring. Now, let's begin with the technical indicators. And as I said, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment box. And more importantly, if you have questions, if you like what you are listening to, don't forget to give a thumbs up to this stream and also follow me. I will just quickly take a look at the comments just to make sure that there are no technical errors in this session. Okay, so far everything looks pretty good. Fantastic. All right, so the purpose of technical indicators. Now, why should we or why do we use these technical indicators on a chart for analysis? Technical indicators help us identify what is the prevailing market trend, how or where to enter the trades, where to exit the trades. If we are taking a price action, if there are any patterns, then technical indicators can help back or confirm the breakouts of the patterns. Uh, they also give us an indication towards what kind of market volatility to expect in the market, or what is the level of volatility in the market, and manage our risks accordingly, detect divergences from the potential trend reversals, measuring momentum to gauge strength of price movements, identify key support resistance levels, and analyze the volume for market participation and sentiment. So this is a very generalized list of what technical indicators can do for you. There is a lot more, but predominantly having a proper thorough knowledge of technical indicators, and more than the knowledge bit, the practice, the proper exposure to their movements in different market conditions can help you in making better trading decisions. See, there is one thing that I always tell everyone, that technical analysis is a combination of science and art. When you start with it, it's a science that comprises of the formula of the indicator, and it's very important that whichever indicator you understand, you want to work with, you first start with understanding the formula. Usually takes you longer, but it absolutely is worth it, and you should 100% know. If you have to recreate that same indicator using a coding system, you should be able to do it if you know coding. Even if you don't, it is very important to understand the science of each indicator. It gives you a much in-depth understanding of why the indicator is doing what it is doing, and how can you take advantage of that. Now, beyond understanding the science of the indicator, it is important to start practicing with that indicator in different stocks, different market types, different commodities, different market conditions. Because from what I have seen, all indicators tend to behave differently under different market conditions. If it's a volatility indicator, it will behave differently in a volatile market versus non-volatile market. If it's a momentum indicator, it will behave differently when the market is at the top, when the market is at the bottom, when the market is changing trend from bull to bear or bear to bull, when the market is in bull trend versus when the market is in bear trend, right? So I have just defined 6 different market conditions for you. So you need to make sure that you use your indicators, you study your indicators in all these 6 market conditions, and try to gauge how do the indicator messages, basically the All right. Sorry for the interruption, everybody. We had a small technical glitch. I had a huge, I was doing a back test on my laptop, which overheated the laptop with all the live stream, and as a result of that, it hanged. So I hope everybody is able to see me now and hear me also. If I can just get a quick confirmation, then I will begin sharing what I was saying. Okay, just waiting for a quick confirmation. Let's see. It shows me that you're able to see me, but I will appreciate a confirmation. Okay, I think it's working fine now. Cool. Let's move on. Okay, one last thing that I must open is the presentation that I was working with. All right. All right. So, as I was telling you, in order to succeed using technical indicators, merely knowing the name or reading books and blogs and YouTube videos will not do. You need to get into the construct of the indicator, you need to get into why the indicator behaves in a certain way in different markets. And when I say different market conditions, I mean when the market is out, when it is starting to resume into a bear trend, that is trend reversal, both bearish and bullish, and both bullish trend and bearish trend. Now, if you are thinking that these six scenarios are not that much, think about this. Within these six scenarios, you need to know how each of the indicators that you use behaves, which increases the like if you do the whole permutation combination, there are a lot of different scenarios. Now, what makes this even more complicated is the fact that not all stocks or underlying securities are the same. जैसे fundamental analysis में we look at stuff like P, PB, price to sales, we look at different ratios, we look at debt to equity, we look at the change in EPS, we look at the other operating margins and all sorts of ratios. Now, how the use or the status of these ratios changes depending on individual industries, depending on individual stocks, and even within stocks, different stocks within the same industry. And how to make sense, you have to know about what is exactly happening in the stock, but from the perspective of the books. Similarly, for succeeding using technical indicators, also you need to know what is happening in the specific price action of a stock, or rather, what is the tendency of the stock, the stock price to behave. So, at this point of time, I'm going to show you the charts for a brief moment. Now, for instance, let's take a look at the daily time frame of the stock called Metro Brand, right? Now, Metro Brand has been doing so the business is obviously really good, and from what we know is they've been making a lot of so they've been paying annual dividends also, and the company has been adopting a lot of expansionary policies. But you don't, even if you're using purely technical analysis, even if you on the 75-minute time frame, I use 25 period RSI. On 15-minute time frame, also I use 25 period, and on the 3-minute time frame, also I use the 25 period RSI. Now, so like I said, RSI is that. The other indicator that I use is the trend indicator, which is moving averages. So for moving averages, I predominantly depend on 4+1 indicators. 4 are the primary ones, 1 is the extra. So the 4 time frames that I use for my exponential moving averages is 20, 50, 100 and 200. And I also use the 500 moving average, which is this. Now, how you set up these indicators is also very important. For example, for instance, the color coding. You need to make sure that you're using proper color coding for all of them, so that you can keep your screen neat, in the sense that you don't need to use, or you don't need to keep the indicators legend on display at all point of time on the screen. And with practice, your brain will automatically start telling you what you're looking at. So what I told you about one picture or one chart being equivalent of 10,000 words, with more and more practice, what you're trying to do is you're trying to convert what would be otherwise a 100-line message into 2-line message, because you're becoming more efficient with your practice. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that I did not wake up in the middle of the night and start using this time frame of 75 minutes or this period of 25 on RSI, or this 20, 50, 100, 200 combinations. It involved a lot of work, a lot of analysis, a lot of backtesting, lots of notes taking, journaling. So there was a lot of data, and it's also not that I just out of the blue decided to use the RSI and the moving averages. I actually came a whole circle for it personally. By a whole circle, I mean I started off with RSI. I started with moving indicators like moving averages, like most people do. I moved on to many different indicators: ADX, MACD, parabolic SARs, stochastics, different period of Bollinger Bands, many more. All right, these are just to begin with. And after going through all of them, studying for a very long time, I realized that what RSI and moving average in combination does for me is sufficient in terms of telling me everything that I need to know to fulfill my purpose. That's another thing. When you're selecting which indicator you want to work with, don't ever don't ever depend. All right, sorry everybody, the video has been buffering a bit too much, so I've just changed the internet connection. It should be better now. So what I was saying was that yeah, the choice of indicator should never be encouraged by some trader that you've seen. It should never be encouraged by some um, we don't encourage use coming back for indicators. The choice of indicator should never ever depend on the uh, it shouldn't be a copycat copy paste kind of mentality. You have to understand what your purpose in the market is. First of all, do you want to do short term trading, do you want to do mid term trading, or do you want to do long term trading? And on the basis of that, you need to see, basis your personality, what kind of indicator is the best for you to use. And on the basis of that, then you have to make the decision of indicators. Then you need to get into the details of the period of indicators, its settings, how the indicator behaves on different stocks and different market conditions, and then you need to pave your path. So this is a lot. So if it sounds daunting, if it sounds difficult, it is a lot of work, but it bears fruit for those who are willing to put in the hard work. Now, with that, I have pretty much come to an end of all the discussion. I would again like to apologize to you for the many technical glitches we've experienced today. I was hoping to have a glitch-free session today, but well, that's that. Now I will move on to the comments and start helping you out with whatever you have for me. All right, just give me a moment here. All right. So we have Shikha who's asked about Canara Bank at the beginning. So let's start with Canara Bank analysis. So banking sector on the whole, I have been telling this for a while now that I am not feeling very bullish on the banking sector. Now that doesn't go to say that I'm expecting the banking sector to crash right away, but fresh positions is not recommended anymore, because see, banks have already rallied quite a bit, And from what I am seeing in the charts, there are other sectors which are now ready to come back into fierce momentum, right? So when you're, if you want to make money in the market, it makes sense to not enter stocks where rally has already happened, rather enter stocks where the rally is about to be unfolded. So remember when I was discussing indicators, I said you need to make sure that you study your indicators historically at the time when trend reversals happen. This is why. Because if you've done that study, then when the trend reversal is happening, looking at the indicator, you will be able to understand that similar thing is happening there. Why? Because you will have trained your eyes and your brain to identify those things in the charts. Now, one look at this chart of CanBank, and I can tell you it is experiencing exhaustion. There are reasons like negative divergences, negative range shift, which are telling me that Canara Bank has much more downside, maybe even 20%, than upside. So, upside I'm expecting not more than 7-8%, but the downside can be 20%. So, for someone who might be holding an active position already, I would suggest you maintain a stop loss at the level of 325.5 and continue to hold, and do that with a target of around 390ish at max, 385 to 390, right? But if you want to make a fresh position in Canara Bank, then now is not the good time to do that. So Shikha, I hope you're still around, and I hope this analysis has been useful to you. So if we have people present with us, please be sure you add your comments. So I will work my way from bottoms up. All right. Now, we have Sameer Ahuja who asked about Britannia. All right. So, Britannia, I feel Britannia has given a pretty good correction from the top. Britannia giving a 12% correction is no joke, right? Looking at the broad momentum, the stock is a perpetual bull stock, and this momentum is expected to continue. So, for long term investors, it's a gold stock, obviously. But looking at the daily time frame, again, I feel the underlying momentum has been pretty strong. And what we're seeing right now is nothing but part of a healthy correction in this stock. So this stock is actually part of my narrowed watch list, as in it is on my radar right now, and I am looking for a lucrative entry point. So I am using things like alerts to let me know if the stock tries to turn up and breach its nearest high level. Right now, it is not very I mean, if you want to buy it, you can start accumulating, but in small quantities, because the bottom is not yet formed for another swing leg. But I think it is definitely a good candidate if you have sufficient risk appetite. Not even sufficient risk appetite. Even for somebody with a low appetite, Britannia is a pretty good candidate. And I do expect the stock to uh, test this trend line that I have, giving it the minimum target of around 5,700. And I don't expect the stock at the same time to go down enough to breach the previous low, which coincides with the 200 EMA of the daily time frame. So 4,500, or rather 4,475, would be your stop loss, and 5,700, as I said, would be a potential target for Britannia. If you want to make fresh entries, do so. If you have an existing position, then please maintain the trailing stop loss of 4,475. All right. Now we have Dilip Singh ji is asking about MFSL. He bought it at 800 and he wants to know whether he should hold or sell it. All right. Now MFSL. Let's see. Okay. So very interesting analysis on MFSL. So what I can see here is that MFSL was in a very strong bullish range, okay, until this point. and then beyond this point it moved down to a bearish range. That was when it started giving correction. Now beyond this point it has moved back to the bullish range, right? So now that it is back in this bullish range, the underlying trend has been established as a bullish one. But should you enter the stock immediately or not? I would not do that. No, I mean, the stock is obviously, see, now if you want to invest in MFSL for a long time, for a relatively longer term, then sure, go ahead and do that, because MFSL is a cyclical stock, right? Take a look at this weekly time frame and you will be able to see what I'm talking about. So the broad range of the stock is basically this upper trend line and this cluster of trend lines here. So one and two big cycles have already happened, and the third one has already begun. There are positive divergence and volume upticks visible on the weekly, daily, and 75-minute time frame. But if you want to do a swing trade, then I believe the first target of the stock has already been achieved, and we need to give the stock a little bit more breathing space. From what I am seeing and what I have studied about charts and stocks in the past, I believe this stock can come down to retest the level of 740, which is basically the 200 EMA. The reason being that the stock has spent significant amount of time below the level of 200, and if this is indeed an ultimate breakout above this, the stock, there is a high probability that the stock will come back down to retest this 200 EMA. Right now, we've always heard that 200 EMA acts as a very good support, but in what scenario? The 200 EMA acts as a very good support in the event of a trend reversal. All right, so irrespective of which time frame you're studying, even if you're studying a 75-minute or a 15-minute or a 200 EMA or a daily time frame, what I have seen is that whenever the 200 EMA is breached and the price sustains for a significant amount of time below the 200 EMA, when the price will finally break up above the 200 EMA with strong volumes, it majority of the times, obviously it's not written in stone, but majority of the times it comes back down to retest the 200 EMA. And here also I think here also I'm seeing signals that this might very well happen. The signal is predominantly coming from the 15-minute time frame, because the phenomena of range shift has just happened there. What do I mean by that? The 15-minute time frame had become bullish, but it has again gone into the bearish range, indicating that the stock is on a 15-minute time frame correctionary zone. So correctionary state. So that is the reason why I expect that more 10% of correction can be expected. So MFSL, I would suggest don't create new positions, and if you are holding positions, then technically 792 should have been your stop loss. Now that the price is already above that level, I would suggest you go forward with using 792 as your stop loss again. So Ashok ji, thank you so much for your kind words. If you would like to connect with me, please join my free Telegram channel. It is very easy to do so. All you have to do is go on your Telegram and type this EXP-Invest in. When you do that, my Telegram channel will pop up right at the top. Hit enter and simply join it. To make it easier for you, I will also paste the link in the comments and you can click the link to be redirected. All right. Next, we have a query on Laurus Lab by Mr. Mohammed. So let's take a look at Laurus Labs. Very good momentum in Laurus Labs right now, and this was actually indicated in a few sessions ago when I told you that all pharmaceutical laboratory and healthcare companies are expected to give good rally. So even if we look at the CNX Pharma index, The rally that is unfolding there is absolutely magnificent. It is absolutely one-sided. And when a rally this strong unfolds, um, and it's also typical of the pharma sector that it doesn't give a very sharp reversal. It tends to phase out slowly, and it's also very characteristic of the pharma sector to give one-sided rallies like the one that we are seeing right now, right? So the rally which is unfolding in Laura's lab, I am not expecting this rally to get over anytime soon. And I expect the resistance to actually come in at this trend line that you can see already drawn on the chart. So my first target is 426, and I have been long in the stock of Laura's Labs. Like, I have been accumulating it since it forged the low at 290, and since then I have been accumulating the stock, trying to exit it near highs and then re-entering the stock, right? So just few days back I booked some of the profits, as you can see, but I'm also holding a major portion right now. This is a disclaimer. So underlying momentum. Let me check the internet speed one more time. Hold on. Okay, my internet speed is really, really bad. Okay, things should be better now. I will just give my network 1 minute to shift and uh, give a little bit better feed. Okay, all right. Things are already beginning to look better. Great. So we were talking about GIC for Mohit, and let's start taking a look. GIC. Hmm. See, this is the thing. So I was looking at the index chart of the finance sector, and finance sector, banking sectors, the broad index, because finance is the highest weighted there. They are all looking slightly negative for the short term, because the rally has already unfolded there. And now, if you want to start making money in the market, the finance sector is not where you should go. It is time to start booking your profits and getting out. And the finance sector has been telling us this by giving moves like this: huge gap downs with high volumes, downside move. Even SBI has given strong down move in the last 2-3 trading sessions. So it is triggering stop losses, and this is happening on very high volumes. So I would not recommend making bullish or long positions in financial sector stocks right now because of this. And in GIC also, if you have an active position right now, please, I would suggest book your profits, get out. If you're in loss, book your loss, get out. So we have a question by Nida. She's asking for analysis of Electra Green Tech, whether she should add the dip. So I can see Electra Green Tech is in superb uptrend right now, and there is very strong bullish uptrend, bullish range shift. So yes, if you want to add positions in Electra Green, maybe fresh positions, or add more to your existing holding, now is a very, very good time to do that. So please go ahead and do it, but of course maintain your stop loss. So where should your stop loss be? I believe this makes for a very good support level for your active positions right here. Clearly, this yellow line, which is the 50 EMA on the daily time frame, is giving support to the price, and I don't expect the price to come down much from here. Moreover, it was from the breakout at this point, when the price was still going up, that we experienced a high volume participation. So clearly some big hands have purchased the stock, so they will not let the stock go back down below their buying price, and you can expect more buying to come in here. So the level of 970, 971 should act as a good trailing stop loss, while you can continue to add more to your position in this stock. So Nida, I would request that you check your buying price again, because you're saying your purchase price is 1400, but that actually cannot be, because I am not seeing the price of 1400 on this stock. So you need to check your holdings again. All right, moving on. We did Canada, we did Britannia, we did MFSL. Um, Praful is asking for short-term analysis on Wipro. I'm personally bullish on Wipro, and I think Wipro is one of those IT stocks which have given us extremely good buying opportunity all the way from 13th of June 22 till date. Even now, for the long term, if you want to buy, it is standing at a very good point. My personal target on Wipro is 700 plus, right? And the momentum which has unfolded in the stock is also very strong. So if you want to purchase Wipro, I would suggest you wait for a bit of a dip to come here, because the stock is a little hot. So we can expect the stock to take a dip all the way to near 400. So that would be a good entry point. But if you are holding the stock, and especially for a long term perspective, then I would suggest you maintain the stop loss of 400 on your positions. Actually, if you're holding for the short term, then for the short term, your stop loss should be 397 or 400. But if you're holding it for the long term, then maintain a stop loss somewhere near the level of 377, because this is 377, this green bar is a key support zone. And if this is indeed a strong turn around, then this support level should not be breached in the stock anymore. Okay, new stock today. Yogesh is asking for Fusion Microfinance. I've not looked at the stock before, so you are going to witness what I call the cloning method of drawing trend line. All right, so that's the maiden trend line, and now we're going to start cloning it by holding down the control key. I don't know how to do it on Mac, so you'll have to find that out on TradingView. Underlying momentum is extremely strong. The stock is undergoing some temporary correction. I expect this correction to go on for a little bit longer. It doesn't look like the correction is over yet. However, but if you want to make fresh accumulations or averaging kind of purchases, or simply want to buy the dip, then it's a good idea to do it. I think the stock can fall anywhere between 4 to 11% more in the current market. So basically, the stock has given a one-sided move of 70% in the last 4 months or so, and this move looks pretty set to continue. But we can expect this 100 EMA, that is a green line, to get retested once. Okay, so that's it. Thank you everybody for being a very patient audience today. It was a pleasure presenting to you, and I really hope I was able to add some value. If you feel I was able to help you, please don't forget to like this stream, connect with me, and leave a kind comment. It really makes my day. So with that, I will take your leave, and I will see you again on Thursday with the Let's Get Technical series. Now in the Let's Get Technical series, I bring to you trades from my past, and we pretty much do a dissection or a post-mortem of it to withdraw or pull out learning lessons, and these lessons are what actually help us become better traders tomorrow. So don't forget to join me for that Let's Get Technical session, because like always, I will end the session with answering your comments. And if you have more stock queries for me, you can share that in my Telegram channel, and I'll be more than happy to give you a personalized response in the channel itself. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you on Thursday. Namaste.